Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Kakashi fails Sasuke and Sakura Sasuke bashing. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Soulblazer87 and link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. Naruto clashed with Sasuke. Pain coursing through him, Naruto pushed harder and harder. He knew he should stop the attack or Sasuke would be seriously injured, but Sasuke would not hold back, that much was painfully obvious. Naruto realized he had to find another way. In a burst of inspiration, he used his half-functioning and aching leg to make a kicking motion, sending a burst of chakra on Sasuke. Sasuke, having completely focused on his Chidori, never saw it coming. The chakra smashed into his abdomen, took his breath away, and threw him back into the statue he came from. Kyuubi snarled in his cage. How could this ninja lose with his power coursing through him? Unacceptable. Pathetic ninja. Kyuubi roared and smashed into his cage again and again in a maddened fury. Meanwhile, Naruto opened his eyes to his mindscape. A few meters away, Kakashi landed with his not so much of a friend Guy. Kakashi ran to Sasuke's fallen body, ignoring Naruto. In response to Guy's question, he simply replied that Sasuke didn't have a healing factor. Guy nodded, half believing before he took Kakashi's other student and making for Konoha. Konoha gates. Boruto Sakura was waiting at the gates for her crush. That Baka Naruto had promised her that he would bring him back. Then Sasuke-kun would wake up from that snake guy and fall in love with her, marry her and spend his life with her. In her mind it had all worked out. Sasuke-kun would be back, in love with her, and all would be good. In the horizon, two figures were heading for Konoha at full speed. Her Sasuke-kun was getting closer and closer. Konoha Shinobi Hospital. Tsunade was working hard in reversing the side effects of the Akimichi enhancing pills. Damn, Brad had eaten all three of them. Meanwhile, her first apprentice, Shizune, was trying desperately to heal Niji's wounds. Suddenly both women looked up with a start. That chakra they would never forget. It was the one person to bring light back to their lives and give them meaning. Tsunade smiled. The blonde brat was alive. If only she knew what was going on at the gate, she might not have smiled at all. Konoha Academy. Iruka was teaching his students about the cages. Specifically about the yondaime. Looking outside, he felt something was wrong. Before he could act on it, however, he was swarmed by his students. Pushing back his thoughts, he concentrated on his lesson again, with only a lingering thought to his former student, a blonde knucklehead named Naruto. Konoha gates. I set Naruto down on a chair carefully and went to the side to speak with the guards. After all, his other student was on that same mission. Besides, Naruto seemed getting better and better, though if he had known enough about Naruto, he'd have noticed something was not right about him. Ceiling tattoos appeared on Naruto's back, glowed faintly and disappeared. Sakura had just seen her crush come in injured. Damn it, how could Naruto Baka hurt her Sasuke-kun? That monster should die. He was probably the reason her Sasuke-kun left in the first place. Enraged, Sakura went to a barely conscious Naruto. Sakura-chan, I did it, I brought back. Shut up, Naruto Baka. You hurt Sasuke-kun, you monster. I should kill you for it. Attempting to go through with her threat, Sakura took out her kunai and made to stab the wounded blonde. Unfortunately for her, Guy heard her threat and reacting instantly caught her wrist. What are you doing, Guy-sensei? That monster hurt my Sasuke-kun. He must die. He was the reason Sasuke-kun left. Crack. But the sickening sound, Guy crushed Sakura's wrist to little pieces. Leaking killer intent that would make Kyuubi proud, he punched her, sending her skidding on the road. Guy then picked up the now unconscious Naruto and left for the hospital. Inside Naruto's mind, Kyuubi raged around his cage. How dare that mortal scum act like that? How dare he lose? How dare he even get hurt with his power coursing through him? Naruto slowly opened his eyes in front of the cage. Squinting his eyes, he saw Kyuubi's rage. Naruto made to speak. Konoha Hospital ICU. Tsunade, the legendary sucker, Slug Sannin and Goddamn Hokage, was desperate. She was low on chakra and Naruto's wounds were still terrible. Next to her, Shizune was healing as much as she could. Burns, broken bones, cuts and a hole in Naruto's sternum. He should be dead, yet Naruto held on, trusting them to save his life. Shizune wiped the sweat off her brow, also wiping her eyes of the tears that threatened to fall before continuing the treatment. Konoha Council Chamber. Anzu, Hamura and Kaharu had finally done it. They would be rid of that nuisance and get a hold of a weapon at the same time. Danzu smirked. Manipulating people was so easy. Inside Naruto's mind. So we have an accord. Kyuubi. Yes we do, brat. Now get going. I sense a lot of changes and brat, thanks. Now go and set me free. Will do, Kyuubi. With these annoying seals removed, it's going to be much easier dealing with things. Konoha Hospital ICU. She had done it. After hours of treatment, Naruto was stable. Tsunade noticed however that Naruto seemed different. She couldn't place her finger on it just yet, but he definitely was different. Just as she was going to leave though. Hey there Bachan. And Naruto. You're up. Damn it brat. You scared me there. Yeah I am. Now Bachan we need to speak immediately. There are some things about me, Haddock and the Uchiha that you need to know. Naruto what are you? You'll see or at least listen. Now sit on the chair cause you'll need it. Minus 30 minutes later. So that's it. Quite the story huh? Say could you get Niji, Tenten, Lee, Kiba, Shino, Shikamaru Hinata and Choji here? What about Sakura and Sasuke Ino? What about the first two? They tried to kill me so I don't really care. As for Ino. If she cares she can come. If not it's her loss. Oh and bring Shizune and Ankoni. I'd like them to hear it as well. Alright Naruto. Just rest for now. They'll come by tomorrow at the earliest. Now I'll just play some security seals. Some idiots might think it's smart to kill you while you're weak. Especially after Sakura's action yesterday. Thanks, Bachan. Now I gotta sleep there are some things that I still need to finalize. Tsunade left a bit shaken by what Naruto, no Hiruto, had told her, but she would not let it show. After all she was the Hokage. The next day. The Konoha 12, minus Sakura and Sasuke, now renamed Konoha 10 amongst them, had gathered outside, or in Niji's, Choji's and Lee's case inside Naruto's room. To an outsider it would seem as if they were placed in the same ICU room with their friends to support them. As Tsunade arrived, Anko and Shizune could be seen following her. After getting to the door, Tsunade opened it and allowed everyone in. Once there, she sealed it off and woke up Naruto from his medically induced sleep. Naruto looked at them and sighed. It was the time of truth for a lot of things. Good morning guys and girls. Tsunade Bachan told you all to come here and listen to something right. It's storytelling time I guess and my story begins some 13 years ago. Just a few months before I was born. Now I'd like you guys to keep your questions at the end okay? Now here I go. I'll start with who and what I am. My name is Uzumaki Naruto and I am the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune. In other words I am the container of the Kyuubi. You see Yondaime couldn't kill the demon. So he chose another way to stop it, namely sealing it away. However due to the strength of the demon no item or holy altar could contain it, no animal resisted, and no grown man stand the Yaokai inside him. The only way to seal it away was by sealing it inside a newborn child. However Yondaime was cunning. Not only did he seal the demon away, he found a way to force it to help Konoha. His seal allowed the container to drag out the power of the demon and use it for his own needs under extreme circumstances. I am that child. The child with the demon inside. The child this entire village hated as if I was the demon itself. Yondaime's wish that I be seen as a hero for stopping the demon was ignored and I was despised. Your greatest hero condemned me to a living hell. Now for something more shocking, Kyuubi is not as evil as you think he is. Ignoring the shocked faces he raised an arm to silence them before continuing. Make no mistake, he is not a good guy. He is not caring or kind. However he doesn't attack humans. Why? Because simply he doesn't care about us. He doesn't give a damn whether we live or die. Besides according to him we are weak and fragile, not worth his time. So the logical question is, why would such an uncaring being attack Konoha, after all he wouldn't stand to gain anything? The answer is that he was forced to attack. Not only that but he was condemned as much as I was. The Uchiha clan's Kekkei Genkai has 2 hidden levels. To unlock the first you must murder your closest friend. To unlock the second you must murder your own brother, rip his eyes off and replace your own eyes with the stolen ones. So why would someone do this? Simply because the second level gives you the power to control the Kyuubi. Not complete control, but enough to force Kyuubi to attack whatever enemy you desire. In order to control it better though, the only Uchiha with this power, the now immortal Uchiha Madara, former head of the Uchiha clan, placed a berserker seal on Kyuubi. This way his pet would be unable to ask for help or fight his influence. This led to Kyuubi's attack on Konoha 13 years ago. In reality Kyuubi was as much a victim of circumstances as I was, though not innocent by a long shot. Now while I was unconscious by the team's Chidori, I had a long talk with Kyuubi. After breaking the damnable berserker seal, he and I came to an accord. I would set him free in return for him abandoning his Biju status and becoming a summon for me and my family. In short I'll turn Konoha's greatest enemy into Konoha's greatest ally. You see some people didn't like me at all. Specifically had a Kakashi. Damn bastard placed a number of seals on me as a kid. Nearly completely destroyed my mind. He restrained my body's growth, mental faculties, chakra control, chakra growth, concentration everything. Including my Kekkei Genkai. If you're wondering what it is it's chakra manipulation I can turn my chakra solid and manipulate its eyes, shape and some attributes. I can make weapons or arms or armor or wings or whatever really. Thanks to Haddock, I lost everything. Fortunately however, my battle with the team forced my body to the limits. When I started drawing on Kyuubi's chakra it started decaying the seals I had on me. When Haruno tried to kill me, it was the final push and I destroyed the mental blocks I had. Every mental block. Blocked memories, skills, knowledge, experience, everything came back to me. Now Kyuubi is working on restoring my body to what I would have been if not for the restraints. On the good side of things however my chakra control now should skyrocket. Especially when I set Kyuubi free and I won't have to fight tooth and nail to keep his yokai from destroying my body. So that's my story. Any questions? Oh and good to be back Anko ni. Everyone, even Tsunade, were looking at him. Anko snapped out of it before the rest and grabbed Hiratado before giving him a nudie. Good to have you back Brad. Really missed you there. Snapping back to a serious attitude Anko continued, so it was that damn Hadaka. So what are you going to do Brad? Nothing me-chan. He'll just have to live on knowing he failed his own Nindo. Hell look underneath my ass. And he's supposed to be a seal expert he couldn't tell I wasn't a furball. Hinata spoke just looked at her crush Ano Naruto-kun see can you trust Kyuubi? I am mean he is a demon right. Naruto looked at her surprised so you're telling me you're more worried if I trust the Kyuubi rather than the fact I got the damn demon sealed inside my gut. Hi and Naruto-kun is no demon. Why you are too kind for it Hinata was blushing a new shade of red at Naruto's inspection. Meanwhile Naruto's friends were thinking about his revelations. Well all except Shikamaru. Bendaku's Naruto's not the Kyuubi I knew since the Chunin exams. I should have seen it earlier though with the adults treating him like that well. That was a wake-up call for everyone, hastily they agreed with the Nara genius. Naruto was truly surprised and happy by his friends. He smiled at the men made to speak before Tsunade interrupted. That's all good, but I'm afraid I have bad news Naruto. What do you mean Bachan? What's wrong? The council that's what? Damn bastards went behind my back to the daimyo Naruto they want to banish you. Worse they'll do it. What? Was the outcry of everyone in the room. Immediately they began protesting. But you can't. But why? But he is loyal. Silence. Gotti made them stop. Just then everyone noticed she was at the verge of tears. The daimyo doesn't know anything about Naruto. All he knows is what these bastards told him and they told him the seal is breaking, he did what I would have done if that was all I knew. Naruto I'm so sorry so terribly sorry. It's okay Bachan they don't want me they don't deserve me I'll leave as soon as I can Bachan. Yes. However you won't be going anytime soon. Before you go I have to tell you some things. I was supposed to only reveal them to you when you became Jounin, but since that's not going to happen I'll do it now. Naruto before I start, I want you to know it wasn't my choice to hide these facts. They were laws placed before me by Sandaime and Yondaime I would have broken them, but the damn council didn't allow me. I thought it wouldn't matter to wait for a couple of years so I could follow them, but obviously I was wrong. Also Naruto I want you to know that while I did suspect the truth, I only confirmed it after I got the seat. Naruto it's about your parents and the origin of your Kekkei Genkai. It comes from your mother Uzumaki Kushina, a Jounin that died when you were born. The Kyuubi's Yaokai and Kai were too much for her and she passed away. She was a master swordswoman, better than anyone else I've seen. With her Kekkei Genkai she could take down just about any opponent. You have her maiden name to protect you from your father's enemies Naruto they both loved you, don't forget that. Your father really loved and cared for you, but he couldn't be with you your father was Konoha's Yondaime Hokage, Namikaze Minato. What? The resounding shout almost broke the seals. But why would he do this to me? Because he couldn't do it to anyone else's son Naruto, he would not put this burden on anyone else. He could not trust anyone else. Anko gently hugged her little brother as he let loose a cry to the heavens, a cry containing all his pain, anguish and anger. Chakra swirled around him. Hinata looked at Naruto, almost in tears, before grabbing his hand and squeezing it, showing her support. The Konoha genin just looked at Tsunade in surprise, well all except Shikamaru. Such troublesome idiots they banished the son of the Yondaime when does he have to go? In 3 days I'm sorry Naruto, but Kakashi's report the chakra around Naruto lashed out like whips at the sound of his sensei. What did Haddock say? Naruto, calm down please. Calm down. Calm down. I won't calm down Bachan. Damn bastard got me banished. I'm betting the second he learns of my dad, he's gonna come to me all smiles and apologies and shit so he can be my best friend. Well fuck him. Him and the rest of this bigoted retarded village. I've got half a mind to let Kyuubi level it or go to that damnable snake pedophile and learn that resurrection jutsu, bring back my dad and have him level the place. Alright that's it. I'm leaving in 3 days and I'm not coming back ever again. Are these idiots supposed to be shinobi? Can't these people see the difference between a kunai and the scroll it's sealed in? This is fucking pathetic. Anko slowly let go of Naruto and started going for the door. Now this was not important, but the kai that was leaking off of her was. Naruto heard an appreciative growl from Kyuubi. Tsunade stopped her. Don't Anko. I'll punish him, don't worry. Anko ni, Kyuubi is impressed by your kai, but maybe you should stop. Otherwise my friends will die. Anyway, seems I'll be leaving for some time, Haba-chan. Yes you will, but you won't go like that. You were the one that brought me here and by Kami they'll pay. The damn traitors are up for a surprise if they thought I'd take this lying down. Nobody messes with my family, adopted or not. Everyone, since I'll be leaving I'll need some help. Shika, could you make me a basic training schedule I can follow? Keep in mind I can learn book stuff 100 or so times faster than before. Tenten, I'll need some weapons to replace mine and a katana. A scroll on Kenjutsu will also be appreciated. Lee, I'll need some weights and some scrolls on Taijutsu since mine sucks. Daoji, could you give me a scroll with easy recipes so I can eat something in the forest? Shino, I may need some scrolls on ninjutsu from the library. I'd go myself, but I'm never allowed, so of course I'll pay for the things, it's just that I'm not really allowed to go get them. Anyway, I'd better get ready myself. Anko looked sadly at her. Ataudo, this was so unfair. She just got him back and she was going to lose him again. Damn the council, I should gut them and then go with my Ataudo. Tsunade looked at her. What did you say? Actually that might not be a bad idea, Anko. How would a long-term Anbu mission sound for you? You objective, protect the Gaki here. Konoha will pay an S-rank pay per week for your living expenses. You gave me some ideas to work with. Tsunade sported a positively feral smirk now, one that, if you didn't know better, would make you think she was in Yazuka really. Naruto spoke again. Now sorry guys, but even with my regeneration I'm not well enough yet. Hinata, Niji, could you stay a little bit more? Slowly Naruto's friends filed out of the room, each thinking his or her own. Only Hinata and Niji remained. Niji, well, I asked for something from the others, I demand this from you. I finally realized Hinata's secret. So since I won't be here to protect her like I should, you will. You are her cousin and a trained Hyuga, much better trained and more talented than me. Raising a hand to stop their protest. No, it's true. As I am right now, I'm weak. Niji, you will protect her, got it? If something happens to her I will come back and so will Kyuubi, and this time no one will be able to seal him away. Kami, be my witness, she's the purest, kindest soul out here. Niji, we haven't been great friends or known each other much, but I know I can trust you. I entrust you with Hinata, got it? Niji just smirked, a bit loyal as always, I see. Don't worry. Hinata-sama will be protected even if it takes the entire branch to do so. Thanks, Niji. Hinata, I have some things here in Konoha that I can't take with me. The only things I've managed to save from the damn villagers. Some plants mostly. Anyway, seems Kyuubi wants to finalize my body before he leaves. Yawn, guess it's back to sleep for me, or hibernation as it is. In case I don't wake up soon, tell everyone I'm gonna see you all in 3 days. After the Hyuga bid Naruto farewell, he fell asleep to allow Kyuubi to fix his body and correct what nearly a decade of restraining and deterioration had done to the young shinobi. Chapter 2. It was 2 days later that Naruto woke to his new self. His body had grown to be a bit taller than average now, with much more lean muscle, giving him a wiry frame. Naruto's face had slimmed out and his hair grown, making him look like a younger version of the yondaime. Naruto's voice had deepened and he felt calmer, more mature than before. His chakra was also so much easier to control, although not perfect by a long shot, which was a pipe dream anyway, considering how much he had. To Naruto the world felt crispier, more alive than ever before, as if he had muted his senses before. Hinata was in Naruto's room when he awoke. Poor Iris could only look in amazement as Naruto changed more and more overnight. Then she remembered what Naruto had suffered and Hinata felt a rare emotion for her, anger. She was angry at Sakura, angry at Sasuke, angry at Kakashi, angry at Yondaime, angry at Sandaime, angry at herself for never speaking up. She was woken up from her musings by Naruto's hand who had poked her forehead. Ma, Hinata-chan, lighten up. I prefer it when you smile, makes the world look brighter. And cue a thud as Hinata fainted from being too close to Naruto, but not before muttering "and Naruto-kun." Naruto chuckled before getting up. Looking to the side he saw that Anko had brought him some clothes. While they might not fit him perfectly, they were definitely much better than his older clothes or hospital rags. So taking his clothes and getting dressed, Naruto checked out after waking Hinata up and asking her to come with him. On the way Hinata asked Naruto what he wanted and when she found out he needed clothes, she took him to the shop Tenten's father owned. According to Tenten, the retired shinobi didn't hate the kid. Once the pair got there, Naruto knocked on the door to be let in. The store was made up of 2 parts, clothes and equipment. Naruto headed to the clothes section to get something to wear that wasn't as orange as before. Hinata went with him, not to peep on him of course, oh no. Just to give him some advice, some perfectly innocent advice. The fact she never stopped blushing is completely irrelevant of course. Naruto took his time choosing his outfit. After all, God knew how long it would take for him to get to a quality shop again. In the end he settled for black Anbu-style pants with red trim and a large number of pockets, a black shirt with a depiction of a fox head in front in shades of red and orange, while in the back it had a fox chasing its tail in the same colors. Over it he got a Jounin-style vest in black with a red and orange depiction of a roaring fox head and a long coat like his father's, only his was black and red. Naruto added a thick black belt and solid black iron-shod boots to his outfit before coming out. On top he added a pair of black bracers with retractable blades on the outer rim, a quick-release kunai and fingerless gloves with metallic caps on the knuckles. Naruto also added a pair of belt pouches behind him where he would store explosive tags already wrapped around kunai. Along with his now grown hair, he looked rather sharp and professional. After that he went to the weapons department and bought a large amount of shuriken, kunai, senbon needles, explosive notes and sealing scrolls. After sealing most of them away and putting the rest in his pouches, Naruto went to pick up the sword Tenten had picked out of him. It was a beautiful black-colored blade with wide edge and red handle. It was placed inside a black scabbard that Naruto put on his back for easy drawing. He would rather have it on his side, but being untrained in Iaijutsu, it was better on his back. Naruto found the belt the blade hung from impractical and resolved to find a way around it. After all was said and done, and Naruto much poorer, he and Hinata went to meet Naruto's other friends for the supplies he would need. At the Hokage's office. Tsunade, Shizune, Jiraiya and Anko were talking about the Gaki. Jiraiya offered to take care of the kid, but he was denied by Tsunade. At everyone's questioning looks, Tsunade continued. The bastards have hurt Naruto enough. He was the only reason I even came back here and these jerks want him off. Well, I'm not going to stay here then. Jiraiya, I want you to stay here and take care of Konoha after I leave. I'm not going to take this lying down, damn it. I'm going to fight back. Anko, you are going to go with the Gaki and help him. I'm gonna give you enough money to last for a few months living comfortably. You'll also take some scrolls with you containing some gifts the council was oh so generous in providing you. After I settle things here, me and Shizune are going to come with you and help the Gaki as much as possible. I'm guessing, Jiraiya, you won't stay here for long, eh? Like hell I am. I'm not coming back to this shithole. Should never even have left Naruto here in the first place. Damn sensei for trusting the council so much. Damn civilians do whatever they want to. Not anymore, Jiraiya. Not anymore. I'm gonna cripple them so much they won't be able to walk straight for months. And it's starting today. Anko, Shizune, Jiraiya, would you mind coming with me to the council meeting? I think you're going to love it. Later at the council chamber. The council was celebrating. They had finally sent the damn demon brat away. Now Tsunade would break and they would gain complete control. Meanwhile Danzu would make a proper weapon to serve them and their needs. It was all good. That abruptly changed as they saw Tsunade and Co. walking inside. Something was not going according to plan, but they didn't dwell on it. Victory was so sweet. After the starting procedures, Tsunade got up and went on to break their day. Okay, enough with formalities and nice speaking. You jackasses have taken too much power and forgot where it came from. You bastards banished Naruto. Under whose power? Who the fuck gave you dim-witted fuck-ups the power to banish one of my shinobi? You forgot one simple thing, you sons of bitches. This is not a fucking democracy. Here I am judge, jury and executioner. Now shut the fuck up. You bastards committed treason upon your Hokage by usurping my power. Know what? Screw you. You are all hereby stripped of all your rights and powers. I hereby disband the council. Kakashi, show yourself, you traitorous fuck. For crimes against the Hokage and breaking your oath to Konoha, I hereby strip you of rank. You are fired. Sechet and Kakashi tried to make a comeback, but Tsunade never gave him time. You will be stripped of all clan holdings and rights. You will be stripped of your Sharingan eye, which will be destroyed. Your chakra circulatory system will be destroyed and your fingers broken beyond repair. You will also be neutered. Your crimes will end your line. I would ask Inoichi to remove knowledge of jutsu, but I want you lucid enough to feel the whole weight of the punishment. If you're wondering, your crimes include assault and battery of a civilian, refusing a mission, failing S-ranked missions, falsifying reports. Do I even need to go on? I don't think so. You disgraced Obito's, Minato's and even your own father's memory. You abandoned your comrades, showed favoritism and ignored the dying plea of the one man to treat you nicely. Anbu, take that scum out of here. Oh, and Haddock. Tsunade whispered the next stuff to the nearly broken man. If Minato had a son, who would he look like? Think about it and rot. You're worse than scum. Kakashi upon hearing this broke down and started screaming before the Anbu took him away. Tsunade turned to the civilian council with an evil smirk. This was just the beginning, assholes. One little excuse. Just one little excuse and I will make Kakashi's punishment seem pleasurable. You are dismissed. Permanently. Tsunade turned on her heel and left the gobsmacked council looking at her. At the exit she stopped and looked over her shoulder. Oh, and I took some liberties to make sure this doesn't happen again. I have sent the fines for your treachery to the banks already and cashed them out. I also made sure to tax you for the years you haven't been. Lastly, I'll be checking over some accounts. Wouldn't want to have someone stealing other clans' money or kami forbid Konoha's treasury now, would we? Have a nice day, jerks. And with that, Tsunade left the council with a snickering Shinobi council, a laughing Anko, a giggling Shizune and a nearly crying Jiraiya. This was so much fun. She should do it more often. But Naruto and Hinata. Naruto stopped eating his beloved ramen from heaven and looked towards the Hokage tower. Ayano Naruto-kun, what's wrong? I dunno, Hinata-chan. Just got the sneaking suspicion I should be rolling on the floor laughing and then hug Ba-chan. Ignoring his feelings, Naruto dived right back into his ramen with a vengeance. Taking care to order a bunch of extras for the way, sealing them in his scroll. Chaoji's recipes were good, but nothing compares with Ichiraku's ramen of heavenly goodness. Just ask Naruto. He knows his ramen. Naruto spent that night in Anko's apartment, enjoying his Nissan's dango and stories, sharing his pain with the one other person to understand him to some point. The next day, Hokage Tower, 3 hours before banishment. Naruto stood on top of the Hokage Tower, hell-raising smirk in place. Beside him the rest of the Konoha 10, Tsunade, Anko and Shizune stood. They all had the most wicked smirk on their faces. Some members of the Shinobi Council stood next to them as well. They knew what was coming, but they had to see it with their own eyes. Naruto walked at the edge and removed his shirt, revealing his stomach. Channeling a bit of chakra, the seal containing the Kyuubi appeared. Naruto smirked before clapping his hands together and emitting a huge amount of chakra. Naruto started doing hand seals that, if one knew, were the hand seals for summoning the Shinigami in reverse order. Shiki Fuijin. Kai. But that cry, Naruto slapped both of his chakra-charged hands on his seal, channeling more chakra than any 5 Jounin had, into the seal. To everyone's amazement, the seal started dissolving and something came out. The blinding flash of light came from Naruto, and out of the seeming sphere-shaped globe that erupted before him, 4 red-haired legs appeared, followed by 2 bunny-styled ears and 9 tails. By the time the light faded away, Kyuubi no Yoko was free. Kyuubi roared, shaking the village. Naruto almost fell to a knee from the exertion. He wouldn't allow it though. Hinata made to support him, but Anko stopped her. Naruto had to do this alone. Meanwhile, civilians and shinobi were looking in abject terror at the figure of the Kyuubi. The demon lord was back and there was hell to pay. The more reasonable of them understood the fact that maybe they had pushed a bit more than the seal could take, and now that it wasn't in place, well, it wasn't gonna be nice. Karma was a real bitch. The rest just curled up in balls and cursed the demon brat. The great demon roared again and life seemed to be squeezed away. Meanwhile, Naruto had erected a barrier with his chakra protecting his friends and allies. The rest were not so lucky. As Kyuubi made to smack his tails on the ground. Oh, I Kyuubi. Stop scaring the heck out of these idiots. Hahaha. Just like you, squirt. Not even before me do you cower. Impressive, just like your father. It runs in the family furball. By now most shinobi that weren't drowning in pools of drool from the shock and fear were listening. Who the heck was Naruto's father that actually impressed the demon lord? I still remember that blonde gaki on top of that ugly toad Gamabunta. I tell you, your dad and that huge frog made on heck of a team. Second human to survive my wrath and the first to actually impress me. I guess that makes you third and second, hubrat. Dawning realization came upon the few that were still sane. Gamabunta plus blonde equals Yondaime. Oh, holy fucking crap of a hell chicken. They had been hurting the Yondaime's own son. Told you it runs in the family. Though my mom's has better firepower. That Kekkei Genkai had suppressed. I tell you, chakra manipulation has never been this fun, Kyuubi. No wonder mom was called Crimson Death. Heck, she would have impressed you too if she hadn't been poisoned by that fuck-up Danzu and his butt buddy Orochimaru. Konoha was shaking in her imaginative boots, or sandals as they were. There was only one Crimson Death, and that was Uzumaki Kushina. Now the problem was, Kushina's Kekkei Genkai plus Kyuubi's power plus pissed-off wielder equals ownage and punage. Hey, if you're anything to go by, I wouldn't doubt it. Really the most unpredictable shinobi of the world, brat. Managing to find and destroy that accursed berserker seal that had me acting like a mindless animal at the behest of that Uchiha bastard. Things were not good for Konoha, that much were certain. Those that had been celebrating about the brat's banishment now were cursing themselves and their luck. Maybe if they offered accepting him or money or wives he'd come back. Then all would be good, right? Right. He wouldn't say no if they made him jounin or gave him jutsu. Right. Anyway, as much as I love talking to Kyuubi, which is not much compared to me talking to Anko ni, we gotta complete our deal. I've let you out and even let you scare the crap out of Konoha. Got your preparations finished on your side. A disrespectful brat. I still am the most powerful Biju, damn it. Show me some respect. Then again if you did you wouldn't be Naruto would you? Anyway yeah I completed my side. I'll give up my place as a Biju and go home to my vixens while giving you the summoning scroll for the Kitsune demons. Who would have thought I'd end up supporting the village I almost destroyed? Even if it gone half-assed on you. Or quarter-assed as it were. Anyway here's the summoning contract, sign it just like the toads and let's get this over with. Kyuubi flicked one of his tails at Naruto and something landed before him. Naruto took his time cutting his finger and scribing his name on it. Thanks Kyuubi, you're not a bad guy after all. Just a little bit on the bloodthirsty side. Anyway I'm done. Don't you worry Kyuubi, I'll call you out to play often I think. Especially if any Konoha bastard wants a piece of me or me to come back here cause of who my parents were. Anyway don't you have a family to get to? I'm sure 13 years away from the missus must have been hard. I don't even want to imagine what that liquid was in the seal's room. Kyuubi made a disgusted face. Meanwhile Konoha blanched at Naruto's declaration of calling the Kyuubi if they tried to get him back. This was so not good. Hey I had to relieve myself you know. Hey I'm only joking. It was just your unshed tears from all the shit these fools put you through. To think they confused a scrawny weak ninja brat with me of all things. Bloody idiots. If you were me, they'd have died the same night they first tried to murder you 12 years ago in that cradle. Idiots. Anyway before I go I'll give you a little gift. I'll strengthen your bloodline a bit. Of course it won't be like the Sharingan I made some few hundred years ago, I learned my mistakes from that fiasco. Instead I'm just gonna give you all elemental affinities and the ability to use affinities you can manipulate instead of the raw chakra with your Kekkei Genkai. Knowing you, that's gonna be more useful to you than that damnable Sharingan. The think I made that even if I did it to combat that damn dragon's Byakugan, it wasn't one of my brightest moments. Anyway I'm gonna have some fun with my vixen instead of griping like an old fox. See you brat. With an earth-shaking roar, Kyuubi's Yaokai flared around him before a smoke covered him and when the smoke was gone, the Kyuubi was gone as well. In his wake he left an exhilarated Naruto, his happy friends, a terrified village and a catatonic Kakashi. Damn furball is not gonna let his mate get out of the den for the next week. Whatever, he deserves it. I just hope he doesn't get any kids yet or he'll be moving here full-time to escape his mate if any stories he has of her temper are anything to go by. Naruto chuckled to himself as he let the barrier collapse. Most of Konoha 10 and Naruto's few allies by now were just gawking at the blonde. Seriously who had the guts to talk to the effing Kyuubi like that? Well someone actually did. Inuzuka Tsume and Midarashi Anko laughed. Naruto laughed with them before going to his Ni-san. Alright Anko-ni. We'll wait a bit and then I'm gonna summon us a kitsune for transportation. Still have a couple of hours to get out of Konoha. Sure brat. Just lem get our traveling supplies from Tsunade before we go. Can't let you go half-arsed out there now can I? Not to mention you don't know half the things you should. Ah well more fun for me I guess. After the shinobi consil members that were present left, Naruto and his friends started talking and planning on what they'd do next. It had been a fun hour for them until Naruto had to leave. Naruto got up and dusted himself off before turning to his friends one last time. Shika don't be so damnably lazy anymore. You might be smart but you need to be strong as well to protect your friends. Chaoji, make sure he stops being so scrawny and weak. In fact cut down on your dosage and up his. Keep these bakas in line okay? I swear sometimes they are hopeless. Lee continue on your path, just tone it down a bit. Passion is nice, but sometimes discretion is the better part of valor as they say. Tenten, keep that baka alive okay? Niji, now that you've opened your eyes, look for what's truly important and keep it safe. Friends, true friends, are something worth giving your soul for, not merely your life, I should know. Shino, keep your team safe and make sure Kiba doesn't get lost in the forests. Hiba, protect the pack from all threats, not just the ones you can see and smell. Tsunade Bachan, I know you like sake and gambling, but you should really cut it down. Life is short, so make the most of it. Shizune Ni-chan, keep Tsunade in line. She's got a new stash in her office by the way. Naruto turned to Hinata and looked straight in her eyes. I who have ignored your existence for the longest time, cannot ask anything of you Hinata-chan. I can only tell you that the strength you have is greater than anyone else's, for your power is your kindness. I believe in you. Leaving poor Hinata in a daze, Naruto gathered his chakra, made a few hand seals, and summoned a large fox. It was about as large as a horse, with 3 tails and was colored rust red. So you're the one Kyuubi-sama told us of. You don't look much. And yet I could summon the old furball here and have him kick your ass. Not all things are obvious Kitsune-chan. Just as Kyuubi-sama said, you've got spunk. Very well, what do you need me for? I just want you to carry me and Anko-ni here somewhere. I was intending on summoning a fast fox, so I'm guessing you're the fastest I could get with that chakra right? Correct. My name is Hayes, meaning speed. I am an effective fighter too, but I do so prefer simply running. So where to? Wave country for starters. I got a long overdue meeting over there. But before we go. Naruto leapt on his summon and used a jutsu to make his voice sound loud enough to be heard all over Konoha. Before I go I got a few things to say. Screw you. Screw you Konoha, screw you Kaharu, screw you Himura, let's not forget to screw you Danzu, but most importantly screw you Kakashi. Thank you all very much for being insufferable jackasses that wouldn't find their way out of a paper bag. So screw you bitches. Naruto screamed to Konoha, giving them a nice view of his middle finger at every screw you declaration. Right after he pulled Anko on Hayes. Onwards. With all speed. Hahaha. Laughing like a maniac, Naruto urged his kitsune mount onwards to wave. The fox had to hand it to the brat, that was one heck of a goodbye. Anko in fact was laughing so hard, Naruto had to hold her steady or she'd fall. Back in Konoha, the people were still looking at where Naruto had been. The shinobi council was snickering and Tsunade was outright laughing. One-upping at its finest. Now Danzu, we all heard about you and Orochimaru, a well-known traitor, which makes you a traitor yourself. Danzu stepped out of the shadows he was hiding in with a small army of root agents. I regret nothing, Tsunade. Orochimaru only wanted some in Konoha dead. I would rule over the rest and bring Konoha to its rightful place. If it wasn't for that demon brat I would have had all the power in my hand. Killer intent washed over him. Danzu blinked a few times before realizing it came from the Hyuga heir who was slowly removing her coat, chakra flaring around her. What did you call Naruto-kun? What do you care for the demon brat? He's just a bastard son of a. Hinata disappeared from view and appeared in front of Danzu, rearing her palm. Danzu's eyes widened before Hinata called her technique. Tenjin. Divine judgment. Her palm landed on Danzu on the chest and her chakra spread all over him. At first there was nothing. Then. CR crack. And Danzu fell on his knees. Tsunade looked in wonder. That was an unmastered jutsu, but its idea and execution were flawless. It just needed some more work. Still. Damn Hinata, you broke every bone in his chest area, that's one heck of an attack for being incomplete. Everyone, including the root, were gaping at her. Hinata panted before taking up an offensive stance but was interrupted by the root as they ran to protect their master. Tsunade smirked at them. Your loyalty is admirable at least. But are you forgetting something? If we fight here, especially with me, you are going to lose and Danzu will die. It would be better for all of you to surrender, correct? The root knew they had no choice, they had to surrender. After all, Tsunade was bound to heal Danzu-sama. Bowing their heads they kneeled before Tsunade as Anbu came to take them away. Now Hinata-chan, mind explaining what that move was? It was impressive. Yesterday, Naruto-kun asked me to come with me to a training ground where he showed me how he could use Futon chakra. When he asked me to copy him I couldn't. I couldn't make Futon chakra, but I had noticed something. Futon chakra when concentrated tends to vibrate at high frequencies. I found I could replicate that on my normal chakra. It took a lot, but I managed it. I could make my chakra vibrate in high frequencies. I simply chose the frequency of bone. Tenjin is incomplete. I can vibrate only one frequency when I used it, so I didn't do as much as I could. I only weakened the outer layer of his bones so they collapsed on themselves. If I had better control or more chakra I would have killed him. Well, that's one kick-ass technique, Hinata. Anyway, want to come to my office later on? I do so want to hear more about it. Tsunade-sama. And slowly the group dispersed, thinking about the show they had just received, but also knowing that the soul of the village had been exiled in such a cowardly way. Hard times were ahead. Meanwhile, Naruto was making good time to Wave Country and was looking forward to seeing Inari, Tsunami and Izuna again. Chapter 3. It had been a couple of days since Naruto, the soul of Konoha, the guardian of the leaf, or as he was known there, the demon brat, had left. The civilians were still adamantly trying to deny the fact that Naruto was the fourth son, no matter how many times Tsunade showed them the birth certificate. The shinobi were still banging their heads on walls. Kakashi had tried to kill himself about 10 times already, but was thankfully saved by the Anbu Tsunade had stationed specifically for this case. After his last attempt of suicide by slitting his wrists, Tsunade had him wear a weird new white shirt whose sleeves tied to his back. The man then tried to bash his head in by running into walls. All in all, good days. After the Danzu incident, Tsunade had called Hinata to her office after she made sure the hawk would survive. Imagine her surprise when she found out he had a transplanted Uchiha eye and arm. Needless to say, when Danzu wakes up, he'll be a few kilos lighter. In the office, the two shinobi spent a long time discussing a variety of issues, from Tenjin to Naruto's fate. Both were afraid of what not only Root but also other shinobi villages will do to him. While it is true he could summon Kyuubi to aid him, it wouldn't be easy. Besides, the demon lord would hardly appreciate being called out every day to deal with pesky ninja that his summoner was too weak to face. Hinata's reputation in her own family had increased since she had created such a powerful technique, but she didn't care. In fact, she was cold to the main family and her father. After all, he was one of the people that had helped in banishing Naruto, something she might never forgive him for. The Ashi was doing everything he could to get his daughter to listen to him, from cajoling her to threatening her, but the Kunoichi either ignored him or gave him glares that could easily be translated in "shut up" or "I'll tenjin your ass," once she even came close to actually doing it. Flashback. Hinata was quietly practicing her Jaiken on top of a pond in the training grounds. As she was practicing, her father came. She promptly ignored him. Angered by her actions, Hiashi glared at her, only to be ignored again. "Hinata, come here immediately." Hinata ignored him some more. "Hinata, you will come here immediately." "Or what, Father-sama?" "You'll do what? Banish me? Do it. I'll just be with Naruto-kun." "Shut up about that filth already." "Insult him one more time, Hiashi. One more time and I'll destroy you. I swear it. Chan, I order you to teach the main branch the tenjin." Hinata just looked at the man before ignoring him and keeping up her practice. "Hinata. You are my daughter and you will do what I want. I command you to teach the main branch the new technique." "Screw you." "Oh yeah, Hinata." Meek little Hinata had developed a language. And worse, she knew how to use it. Hinata smirked inside, looking at the red face of her father. "Do it or I'll put you in the secondary branch. I will not take no for an answer." "Will you take a knee to your balls as an answer then?" "I'll be more than happy to comply. Now get the heck out of my sight, you decrepit old fool. You were never a father to me, so I am not a daughter to you. Now beat it before I demonstrate tenjin on you. You insolent bitch. Never bowing to your superiors, just like that fool of your mother and that damnable demon brat Yuzum." Hinata sped on to her father. When he raised his hands in attempting to block her Jaiken strikes, their bones shattered by the force of tenjin. Hinata smirked before twisting around the head of the Hyuga clan and using normal Jaiken on his legs. The man fell to his knees before feeling Hinata's chakra-charged, cool hands land on his neck. "You're a fool, Hiashi. A decrepit sore loser of an old fool. You constantly scheme about everyone, your own flesh and blood being nothing but tools before your ascension to more money and power. Tell me, old fool, what will your money help you if I just kill you right here and now? How will your oh so vaunted political power save you if I just snap your neck? What are you going to do? Glare me to death? Fool. Now begging from my sight. You're unworthy of a killing blow, blind snake." Hinata left her father alone, not even bothering to call for someone to pick him up. Obviously, since then she lived with a certain Senju. Then flashback. It was a few days after that when Hinata was walking around Konoha looking for a shop to buy groceries. Ever since she defended Naruto's honor, many shops either kept hating him, stubbornly believing Naruto was a demon, or kowtowed like the fools they were in order to gain some sort of redemption in his eyes. So Hinata was looking for a shop she could shop normally at, in other words, a shop that had treated Naruto right. And guess what? There was none. Hinata sighed, this was ridiculous. A shinobi village, the one considered the strongest too, and it was filled with so many idiots. It was during that walk that Hinata felt some killer intent towards her. Silently she jumped on a roof and looked around. Around her a group of 12 shinobi appeared, all with blank masks with an symbol. Like one, they drew their blades. As they ready to attack, Hinata took her stance and mentally apologized to her Naruto-kun that she may not see him again. As the group charged, a chilling chuckle, so cold and mirthless it would give Orochimaru a run for his money, etched. Following it, a childish giggle sounded. As everyone looked around for the source, a pitch-black, red-eyed three-tailed fox, the size of a horse, rose from Hinata's shadow. On the opposite side, a white-tipped blue-eyed, blue-colored two-tailed fox, a bit smaller than the other one, apparently appeared in front of Hinata. "If you value your lives, you will leave. We will not allow anyone to hurt Hinata-sama," said the black one in a gruff voice. Yeah, leave now. Hinata-sama's the best and we'll protect her," spoke the white one, sounding almost like a little girl. The shinobi hesitated but for a second before attacking. The foxes didn't move as the group closed in. Suddenly the black fox thrust its tails into the ground and amazingly enough they sunk into it, only to erupt in front of 3 shinobi, stabbing them in the chest, instantly killing them. The white one gave a foxy smirk before charging ahead. As the first enemy made to slash it, she seemingly disappeared and reappeared behind the operative, already biting the neck. With a twitch, the shinobi's neck was broken. The white fox didn't finish though, as she leveled her tail to another pair of enemies on her sides, and there seemed to be a distortion in the air, as if the tails were covered by near invisible drills. The fox then somehow threw the drills by flicking her tails, impaling the unfortunate enemies on the torso, spreading blood and gore around. Of course Hinata didn't stand back either. She parried, dodged and weaved around her opponents, sticking almost like glue onto them, leaving them very little room to attack or dodge their own allies' attacks. Hinata was scared, yes, but the private lessons she'd had with Tsunade aided her in avoiding just about any attack on her. A few nicks here and there were nothing though. The 6 remaining assassins paid no attention to their dead allies, which in hindsight proved to be their undoing, as the foxes seemingly went berserk at the sight of even a slightly injured Hinata. The black one roared and made tails of raw shadow come out of the shadows of the attacking shinobi, constricting them, while the white one glared at them before turning in the same near-invisible state of wind displacement her tails were surrounded by before. The only thing that remained were the 2 damning blue orbs that once were her eyes. With insane speed, the now colorless fox charged right through the assassins, tearing them to little bits like a giant drill ripping through rock. Hinata looked at her apparent allies. They obviously were not normal foxes. Were they summons? She had never heard of fox summons. Then she remembered that Naruto had acquired the demon fox contract. So these 2 might have been sent by her Naruto-kun. The thought made her blush cutely. Ayano T, thank you very much for helping, but W, who are you? Relax, Hinata-sama. We have been sent by Naruto-sama to watch over you. He realized that there are many who would harm you to get to him, so he sent us as your bodyguards. My name is Cage, lead assassin. I must offer my apologies. You were harmed due to my incompetence. I shall seek to rectify myself as soon as possible. Spoke the black fox. Yeah, we're both sorry you got hurt, Hinata-sama. Naruto-sama will be sad. My name is Kaz, by the way. I'm good with wind stuff. Naruto-sama had us watch over you, but we failed. Now we're probably going to get scolded by Kyuubi-sama again. The white fox made a little whimper there. Ayano, I think it's alright. After all, they were T-trained assassins. At this point, Cage snorted indignantly. Trained assassins? Them? As if. Green behind the ears rookies, more like it. HMPH. Mama Cage-kun, not everyone's as good as you are. Besides, compared to you age, they are green behind the ears rookies. Or rather pale in the face rookies. Kaz giggled at her own joke, not caring about the other sweat drops. Anyway, I think I should go. Tsunade-sama might get worried. Maybe you should come along and introduce yourselves. Very well, Hinata-sama. We will escort you to your residence. A human plus 2 hiding foxes, Cage hiding in Hinata's shadow and Kaz turning invisible and roof hopping along, made way towards Tsunade's mansion. Once there, Hinata proceeded to introduce the 2 foxes to the goddamn Hokage. Meanwhile, said Hokage was busy studying a variety of laws pertaining to exiles and training trips, as well as her rights as Hokage. The results made her rather giddy, to say the least. It was night and Hinata was getting ready to go to sleep when she heard some scratching coming from the back door. Curiosity getting the better of her, she went to check it out, comfortable in the knowledge that her 2 foxy bodyguards were close by and ready to pounce. Opening the door, he saw a cute little chibi fox swishing its tail. Trying desperately to resist the urge to glomp it, she leaned towards it slowly. It yipped cutely once and licked her approaching hand. It was the end for poor Hinata. She tried in vain to resist it, but Hawaii. And cue a chibi fox kid getting glomped by Hinata. As the girl squished the poor fox in her hug of pleasant death, not my creation, but I don't remember who I got it from. I do remember it's a fic in my fav list though. It tried in vain to escape, only now realizing what that look meant. After Hinata calmed down a bit and started petting it, she asked it where it came from. Well, she didn't expect it to answer, but I come from Naruto-sama, Hinata-sama. I am Ongaku. Pleased to meet you. The little kid finished it with a little yawn, making Hinata begin sweating, trying to resist the cute aura of the little furball. I am a little tired, but Naruto-sama sent me to give you and his bochan a message. Mind if I take a nap? And so the little kid curled up in Hinata's lap and went to sleep. Unbeknownst to the human and kid, the owner of a pair of red eyes sighed in dismay. Hinata carefully picked up the kit and took it to her room before going to sleep in her own futon. After she was asleep, the kid got up, winked to the aforementioned owner of red eyes, and went to sleep on top of the kunoichi. At the morning, Hinata woke up after one of the best dreams ever. She and Naruto on a romantic picnic, after which a long list of X-rated activities ensued. Feeling a weird object in her arms, she moved a bit, thinking it was her teddy. Well, until 2 things happened. She remembered that her never had tails, and most importantly, the teddy moved. Drowning a squeal of fear, she slowly opened her eyes, half hoping Naruto was there. She was disappointed though, for her hug buddy was Ongaku the chibi fox. She managed to pout for a good 4 seconds before Ongaku yipped once and licked her face. Hinata giggled and got up. Hinata got up, Ongaku now resting around her neck, tail swishing left and right lazily, as she made some coffee for Tsunade. In the past days she had found out about Tsunade's sake binging, something that Naruto's exile didn't help much with, and realized that a good cup of coffee was necessary to wake the Hokage up. After making Tsunade's coffee, Hinata started on breakfast, knowing full well that Tsunade's extensive training took more out of her than most people could imagine. Some 30 minutes later a groggy Tsunade stumbled into the kitchen and took the offered cup of coffee. After drinking a bit and managing to open her right eye at last, she noticed Hinata's new fashion item. Then she realized that accessories, no matter what, don't have swishing tails. The accessory then seemed to jump off Hinata's shoulders onto the table and make its way towards the slowly awakening Hokage. Ongaku then tipped her head to the side, gave her the best puppy eyes look ever and yipped cutely. Tsunade never stood a chance. Hawaii. And for the second time in less than half a day, Ongaku was glomped and subsequently petted by a female. Hinata giggled at her Sishu. It was nice to see that she still had some love for all things cute and cuddly. So Hinata, how did you find this cute guy here? And tame him at that? Hinata made to answer, but the chibi fox acted before her by somehow managing to pout and answering. I am not a he. And I am not tame. I am the Kitsune Ongaku. Naruto-sama sent me here to give you a message from him. Tsunade blinked once, twice, 3 times, before looking apologetically. I'm sorry if I insulted you. So Ongaku, right. Well, what message did Naruto have for us? Well, for Hinata-sama, he said he's okay and not to worry, he's having fun and finally getting trained properly. Also, if someone tries to bully you, just let him know and Kyuubi will be greeting them soon. For Tsunade no Bachan, he says he's alright, even though Anko is a slave driver. Also, he's in Nami no Kuni, land of waves for those that don't know, visiting a great landmark that shows his awesomeness. Also, he said he'll be staying there for a month or 2 before moving on. He also said that you should warn any more route you see that next time he's really going to summon Kyuubi. Tsunade sighed before starting to pet the little fox. It's okay, besides I've got some surprises in store for him. Shizune should be wrapping them up soon, haha. Nah, Hinata-chan, how would you like a training trip with an ex-Hokage? Our destination. Nami and beyond. Of course, it's only a coincidence we'll be traveling with a certain blonde gaki that constantly calls me Bachan. Tsunade made an evil-sounding laugh. Hinata looked at her Sishu questioningly at first and then with understanding. Hi Sishu. I'd love to. When do we leave? Well, first I want you to gather whatever you can, however you can. Things like Jaiken jutsu and teachings or food and weapons will be invaluable. I've already sent some with Anko, but we need to raid the Hyuga compound. I can't teach you Jaiken, so we need some scrolls of it. Niji should be able to assist us with this if you tell him. I've got some friends in Anbu, get us some of their high-rank equipment and jutsu copies, but we need more. When we leave, we're gonna make sure Konoha won't stand straight for years. As for me, I need to do some twisting to manage and get Naruto's full inheritance and rights out of here. Like the swirl mark on Konoha's symbol in Jounin Vest. Not to mention Konoha's relations with all the lands Naruto has helped, like Yuki no Kuni and Suna. It's gonna take some time to send the messages out, especially with the former council pulling strings and whatnot. I also have to do a clean out of disloyal shinobi, it's gonna take some time. About 2 weeks or so. Thankfully Shizune knows everything about this kind of things, so she's well on her way of arranging them. So many things to do, so much fun to be had. Hinata giggled at Tsunade's antics and prepared for her day ahead. Hinata-sama, Tsunade-sama, I think it would be best if for this period you do not split up unless it is unavoidable. This way Kase and I will be able to watch over both of you at the same time. Besides, only an assassin can predict and counter another assassin, and I happen to be the lead assassin of the Kitsune clan. Also, I have some ideas for the future, and so Kage started a discussion that lasted for hours, detailing different escape routes and actions, as well as even better ways of sabotaging Konoha. Tsunade couldn't help but like this one. As calm and controlled as he seemed, he was one nasty fox if necessary. In the end, it was noon before Tsunade went to her office, ready to start the first part of the Great Exodus. It would be a project to be proud of, Tsunade surmised. It was going to be fun. As for meek little Hinata. She stood by and watched, drinking in every detail, Ongaku wrapped around her neck, Kage hiding in her shadow, and Kase watching them from behind the Hokage's desk. Soon, she thought. Soon she'd be with her Naruto-kun and out of this bigoted village. While Hinata still had some doubts, she sincerely believed she and Naruto would overcome any difficulties. As for Konoha. She didn't really care. If Konoha didn't want her, then good riddance and farewell. She just hoped her friends would come with her. If not now, then later. Hinata started planning on how to break the news to Konoha 10. Looking at some of the reports Tsunade was signing, she couldn't help but giggle. This was going to leave Konoha in shambles. All the better, really. Oh yeah, Hinata, meek gentle Hinata was developing a mean streak. The Nami no Kuni, Naruto stopped punching a tree and looked towards Konoha with a smile. Soon, he thought. Soon they'd know that payback is a real bitch. Naruto went back to training with renewed vigor under Anko's watch. Chapter 4. Tsunade had spent a lot of time preparing her and her allies' exodus from Konoha. It was going to be quite fun to see the oh-so-great and superior Konoha fall to its knees because of a single genin. No, Naruto was definitely not a single genin. Member of various political assignments, Jinchuriki and an abnormally good person, Naruto stood out, orange jumpsuit or not. Of course many would disagree and call him monster or defiler of Yondame's good name. Then others would call him Namikaze-sama and beg his forgiveness. Idiots, the lot of them. The best way to characterize Naruto was simply Naruto. He was one of a kind, unique and the most surprising ninja of the world, not just the little village of Konoha. Tsunade reminiscent the good times in her office, both before Naruto was exiled and after it. She really had some favorites. Such as Sakura. Flashback. Tsunade was having a perfectly good day doing nothing, Shizune actually approving of it since neither cared about Konoha anymore. After all, they would both be gone from in very soon. All of a sudden a pink-haired gorilla-strong banshee barged inside the office without even knocking. Seriously, was that thing a shinobi? A kunoichi at that. Pink dress, pink hair, shiny forehead, shrill voice, no manners. Tsunade almost felt sorry for Konoha and her low standards. Almost. Tsunade-sama. I want to become your apprentice. Excuse me? I want to become your apprentice. And why, pray tell? Because I have awesome chakra control and so I can care for Sasuke-kun. Besides, with your techniques I will be able to help Sasuke-kun and he will fall in love with me and marry me, and in the being kept on ranting about her future with the ever so awesome Uchiha Sasuke. Divine light shining down on her as she extolled Sasuke's numerous virtues or something like that. Let me think about it. No. What? Why not, Tsunade-sama? Because I don't want to. Now get. You annoy me. Iba-san told me I should come to you and tell you to take me as your apprentice. The councils agreed. And I care about the councils because. Isn't it obvious? Because they are right. I mean, they banished that monster Naruto and. Bet out. Blah? Bet. Out. Now. But Tsunade-sama. It is Senju-sama or Hokage-sama, you stupid fangirl. Get the fuck out of my room. Now. I have no patience for fools like you. No. I will not leave until you make me your apprentice. You don't understand. I have to get Sasuke-kun's heart. I have to. Suddenly Hinata appeared from his side door before speaking coldly, become his slut for all of time, we know Haruno. Now get the heck out. Tsunade-sensei was getting ready for my lessons and we happen to not have time for insufferable fangirls like you. For all your vaunted intelligence you really are an idiot, Haruno. Now leave us alone. Sakura looked at Hinata before scowling. The pale-eyed freak. What do you want? I know you like that idiot fox freak Uzumaki. Hinata twitched. Unless you changed. That's it, isn't it? You finally realized how cool and awesome my Sasuke-kun is, eh? That's why you're training with Tsunade-sama, right? Hinata and Tsunade twitched. You want him for yourself, right? So you can treat him and then steal him away from me with your tricks and oversized boobs, right? Even Kage started twitching. Well, I won't lose. Tsunade-sama. I demand that I be taught like the Hyuga here. I can't lose my Sasuke-kun to the hands of this slut. By now even the cute Ongaku was up from its resting place on Tsunade's lap. Taunton had gone with Shizune on an errand and was looking curiously at her. Of course, as soon as Sakura saw Ongaku, she almost flew towards her in order to grab her and squish her, screaming kawaii. Or well, she tried. It seems insulting a certain blonde knucklehead doesn't sit well with a certain Hyuga. Hinata appeared before the leaping Sakura, deflected both her hands with a spin before sending a very powerful Jaiken strike in Sakura's gut, knocking out the inane banshee with sheer pain. Then she looked at the Hokage, smirked and promptly kicked Sakura with a Jaiken enhanced foot right in her womanhood. Results, instant neutering as well as a destroyed bladder. Tsunade was looking at the ceiling, whistling innocently. Hinata giggled once, in a weird semi-innocent, semi-guilty way that was so out of the way of the usually timid Hyuga, before summoning the Anbu stationed invisible inside the room reacted, half shuddering, half laughing at the unfortunate fangirl. And flashback. Oh, these were fun times, Tsunade surmised. Definitely the highlights of it all. Sakura blew a gasket when she woke up tied to a bed. Of course she tried to press charges against the Hyuga, but with so many eyewitnesses swearing they saw her physically assault the Hokage, it was a lost cause. And the stupid girl didn't even know of the status of her genitals. Tsunade snorted, food poisoning her huge and glorious breasts. It was real fun. Just like that time with Sarutobi's old teammates. Flashback. Amura and Kaharu, or more commonly dubbed Ancient Duet by Naruto himself, barged into Tsunade's office. The Hokage sighed internally. What was with all those idiots never using proper ways? Half her Jounin jumped in from the window, her Anbu and the rest Jounin just shunshined, and everyone else barged in like they owned the place these days. Was knocking such a hard job for these people? Or were they just retarded? Then Tsunade remembered that these people hated Naruto for actually keeping them alive, so yeah, that kind of made sense. If they can't tell a 100 feet tall nine-tailed demon Lord of Doom in the shape of a fox with puny ears, she still cracked at the nickname Bunny-chan that Naruto affectionately gave Kyuubi. Behind said being's back, of course, with the kindest child to walk this land well, she would rest her case. Bloody idiots. Was this really the Konoha that her grandfather and granduncle had built? This was pathetic, Tsunade surmised. Just pathetic. Moving on though, the duo of political doom, mental death and moral decay stepped inside, barely noting Hinata standing next to Tsunade helping her with some files. Tsunade, we have come here to tell you of our dislike about your rash actions. You will reinstate the council. It is our decision. Tsunade promptly ignored them and kept talking with Hinata. Tsunade. We do not have time for your childish games anymore. You will listen to us and reinstate the council. Immediately. Tsunade looked up from her papers and looked at them. Your advice is duly noted. You shall be informed of my decision on the matter at my convenience. You can go, civilians. The two bristled at this. Tsunade, this is enough. Are you going insane? If needed, we shall go to the daimyo and we will get the council restored. It is after all. Would you two shut the hell up? I'm having a real hard time deciding which team to give this D-rank mission to. Him cleaning the public toilets of Konohagakure looks real hard. I think our top team, Cell 5, Chunin team consisting of Naruto haters, should handle it. What do you think, Hinata-chan? I have to agree, Hokage-sama, it is indeed a most harsh job, fit only for professionals like Team 5. I think it will suit them fine. The elders once again tried to push. Tsunade, we're warning you. This is going to go to the daimyo. Your head is in trouble here. Of course they forgot that when someone pushes, they should be prepared for someone to push back. Oh really now? Since you're throwing his name so freely, how calling him over here? So I can show him every lie you've told him. Besides, he's been sent the full extent of Naruto's doings. He knows everything, including your conspiracy to overthrow me. So don't go around threatening me, civilians, or be prepared for me to decimate you. I am not a foolish little girl you can push around. I am Senju Tsunade, God Im Hokage. So get the fuck out of my office, you fossils, before I decide to get even. I'm sure everyone will mourn your unfortunate demise from heart failure. No one will ever think about that little poison I made back in the war. Remember it. I've improved it, tasteless, odorless, colorless, doesn't react to any poison. Mark, a really beautiful thing. Truly wondrous. Now get. The elders left knowing they had lost everything. If only Danzu was still amongst them, but the old hawk was still being treated by the medics, who were less than gentle, not to mention his body went through extreme changes, with the removal of an arm and an eye. Then flashback. Tsunade laughed a lot that day. Especially at the faces of the elders and Cell 5. They really had that coming for a long time. Filling a saucer with some sake, she toasted to the planned success. Meanwhile, Shizune was busy as hell. Between her rounds at the hospital, the library raids and the law twisting she had to do, it was real hard. She could rest easy though, as far as Tsunade was concerned though. Hinata would keep her in line. Hinata and the rest of Konoha's 10 were in Tsunade's house, having what could be called a war meeting. It came as a surprise to most when Hinata appeared at their house and asked them to come over to Tsunade's home to discuss some things. So how's everyone? I asked why you to see come because I have to tell you something. In a couple of weeks I'm leaving Konoha. Of course Ed's statement caused a lot of shouting, protests and questions. Hinata took a deep breath, steadied herself and began. It's because I just can't stand being in a place that hates Naruto-kun. Most still hate him even after they found out about the fox. The rest just try to play good with him to get their hands on his clan name. It is in short disgusting. I hate it. So, I'm leaving this place. I mean, what do I have here? I have 2 friends and an abusive family, which is much more than anything Naruto-kun could ever claim. So I'm going with him. Besides, I won't be going alone. Tsunade-sama and Shizune-senpai will be coming along as well. You can come with me too if you want. You and your clans. I mean, this is not Konoha. Not the Konoha it is supposed to be. Look outside, it's a bigoted place filled with fools. I hate it. I'm going with Naruto-kun. I called you here to tell this as well as invite you with me. However, you don't have to make this decision right now. Think about it. But why should we leave? I mean, Konoha is our home. Countered Kiba. We can't abandon the pack. I never said this, Kiba. But tell me, what do you fight for? You fight for your home, right? What is your home? Is it the wood and stone or the people that make it? Think about it, Kiba. Besides, I said you don't have to make the decision right now. Nor do you have to go along. I happen to know some things. After Tsunade-sama will be gone, Jiraiya-sama will become Hokage. You can leave with him. You and your families. We'll cut the chain that binds us to this place, trapped by civilians, and be free for once. We'll probably become nomads for some time, going from place to place until we settle down and make a new home. A proper home this time. One where people will be accepted regardless of looks or age or burden or clan or bloodline. I know it sounds great right now to some or horrible to others. That's why I'm telling you to think about it. Take your time. I mean Kiba, who makes up your pack? Do you want your pack to be people that banish others because they got the short end of the stick? I beg you please think about it. Not now, but in time. We have a chance to change the world, change our fates, be free. Let's not waste it. Not for fools that would never accept us anyway. They are not worth it. What about Konoha? What will happen to it, Hinata? Inquired a curious Shino. Konoha has dug her own grave. You may not know it, but Naruto-kun is seen as a hero in many lands. Exiling him for a burden he never chose isn't going to sit well with them, and unfortunately for Konoha, they are very important people like Nami no Kuni and Yuki no Kuni. Not to mention other lands will stop trusting Konoha. I mean we just exiled the son of our greatest hero for keeping everyone safe while completed his mission. Not to mention the fact that Naruto-kun has the power to summon the Kyuubi and a powerful Kekkei Genkai. Few will trust Konoha any longer. If Konoha doesn't fall from lack of external funds, it is going to fall from lack of internal funds. The Namikaze, Uzumaki and Senju accounts consist of about 50% of Konoha's cash, and it's going away soon. Not only that but Tsunade-sama went to the daimyo and told him the full story about Naruto-kun. I read the letter he sent, it was colorful. Konoha is no longer protected by its daimyo. It was Ino's turn this time. But what about our homes? Where will we settle? How will we survive? That's why you're going to have to wait a bit. Most likely we'll live as nomads for some time, unless Naruto-kun becomes strong enough to claim his mother's lands. Other than that, we'll become strong and trusted enough to take missions instead of Konoha or other countries. Konoha will fall. We can rise. If you're wondering, the land Naruto-kun can claim is the entire Yuzu no Kuni, a huge island surrounded by whirlpools, which is next to impossible to cross unless you know the way. It was destroyed by Uchiha Madara and Kyuubi. Besides, his mother always said, home is where your heart is. I don't know about you, but my heart is with Naruto-kun. Lee and Tenten seemed to be quite agreeable, after all both were orphans and had very little ties to the village. Shino was thinking about it as well. The only problem his clan would encounter would be transferring their colonies, but that could also be fixed. Next to Shino was Shikamaru, also in deep thought. He couldn't live with traitors. Besides, living like that seemed untroublesome in fact. Kiba agreed mostly, especially after what Hinata told him about his pack. He was sure the rest of the clan would agree as well. Chaoji would agree with whatever Shikamaru said, besides he didn't have much tolerance for traitors either. Niji was conflicted. He could leave, but what about the secondary branch's fate? Hiashi alone could just kill them all with a hand seal. If it weren't for that damnable seal, Ino too was confused. Her eternal crush proved to be a traitor, the dead last proved to be a hero, and so many things were changing. Thankfully, Ongaku in her lap proved to be very good at calming her down. Look, you can talk to your families and think about it. Besides, it won't be just us shinobi. Some civilians may want to come along, disgusted by Konoha's actions. No, I'm not talking about Ichiraku's alone. Believe it or not, some in fact regret their past actions and want to make up for it. It's just that the majority of this place still hates people like Naruto-kun. Well, if they don't want to see the truth, we shouldn't push them. Just leave them be, their own actions condemn them. Just think about this offer, please. That's all I'm asking of you. With Hinata's speech complete, her friends started leaving. Hinata just collapsed on the couch and sighed. That was positively one of the hardest things in her life. She lifted Ongaku in the air, looked at her and spoke. Well, Ongaku-chan, that's done. Now we wait. Hi Hinata-chan. Nice speech by the way. How did you manage to not stutter? Simple. I reminded myself why I was doing it and what I was getting away from. After that it was easy. I don't think I'll be able to do it again, though not soon anyway. It's alright Hinata-chan. Don't worry, I'll help, and so will Naruto-sama when you meet him. Hinata just sighed. Naruto-kun. Meanwhile, Shizune had taken great care to gather a large amount of scrolls for the journey. She giggled at Jiraiya's face when Kage told him about their plan. Jiraiya was shocked for a bit before grinning widely. To use sealing like this, Jiraiya laughed while drawing seals around a certain mansion. This project could take days. Thankfully Jiraiya was a seal master, otherwise it would be completely impossible. Jiraiya's smile never left his face while he labored day and night around a huge estate that had been abandoned for 13 whole years. Now Jiraiya knew exactly why the Kitsune clan was feared amongst the summons. They had one baddest mean streak. The Nami no Kuni, a blonde boy, looked at a certain chibi fox before giving it a new message. Alright Ongaku, off you go to Hinata-chan. Then said blonde turned to Anko with a feral smirk. It's all coming along nicely. Konoha never deserved my father's legacy. Now let's see them squirm. Anyway Ni-chan, I think I should stop using chakra soon. After all the day of the cage's exodus is coming and we gotta prepare for them. Hahaha, Konoha hasn't seen the last of Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. Not by one hell of a long shot. A few days later Ongaku returned to Naruto and whispered some news to his ear. Anko noticed the smirk on Naruto's face. Konoha was going to get another punch in the genitals. Going to a huge clearing, Naruto took a kunai, nicked his fingers and began hand seals, chakra flaring around him. Ongaku safely perched on Anko's shoulders, she giggled along with her mount air carrier. Naruto finished his hand heals, gathered his chakra to his hands. Slapped his hands to the ground and shouted. Tajuu Kitsune Kuchiyas no Jutsu. Puffs of smoke erupted all around the clearing and concealed it. When it dispersed there stood. Chapter 5. Naruto stood in the clearing, smoke slowly clearing to reveal 1, 2, 3, 10, 20 large shadows and one huge one. A rough harsh voice asked from behind the smoky veil. Well if it isn't the ninja world. Who dares summon me? The strongest of the eight-tailed kitsune, Doki-sama. Naruto answered quickly, knowing that the one he summoned was not one for waiting games. It is I, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, former Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. I have need of you. And what need is that Naruto? Has small revenge on those that banished me for protecting them. Will you help me? Kyuubi-sama told me a bit of you. Very well, me and my guards will aid you. Arigato, Doki-sama. Now here's what we'll do. Naruto proceeded to explain his plan to the massive fox. And truly massive it was, only a bit smaller than Kyuubi himself, 8 tails behind him, black in color with red highlights, covered in metallic armor, even on the tips of his tails. Surrounding him were 5 and 6-tailed foxes of various sizes, colors and strengths, all however scarred as a testament of the fights they had been in. At the end, the huge fox couldn't help but laugh darkly. It was one good way to prank someone for betraying you the way they did. Meanwhile in Konohagakure no Sado, Hinata was reading some healing manuals, Ongaku on her lap. Hinata turned to Ongaku. Ongaku-chan, we're leaving soon right? Are you going to stay with us? Or are you going to go back? It's okay Hinata-chan, I'll stay. Besides I want to stay here. But it's going to be dangerous Ongaku-chan. Even with Naruto-kun's power revelation, we'll still be hunted so you won't be safe. The Hinata-chan, did you think Naruto-sama chose me just for my cuteness? Ongaku took an adorable pose looking at Hinata with her puppy eyes of doom, thoroughly enjoying the look in Hinata's face. I got some nice skills, even though I'm just a kid. Besides, I chose to come here to become stronger. What do you mean? Well, a kitsune's strength is often measured by its tails. Each tail is about 2 times stronger than all the previous tails together. For example, Kage-kun is about 2 times stronger than Kage-chan. Also we all have an ability called Kitsune Bai or Fox Fire, which is like your chakra. It's only good for illusions or burning stuff or especially illusions of burning stuff. Some can't use fire though, but can do other stuff like Kage-chan. I only know a bit and don't have much. Also with only one tail I'm the weakest there is so I want to get stronger. Besides I've got a very powerful ability. Oh and what's that? Singing. Hinata blinked a bit before giggling. Hey. Don't make fun of me. Ongaku pouted, getting the rather predictable result of Hinata squeezing her and screaming about how cute Ongaku was. Moo. Stop laughing already. Singing is a powerful ability. Hinata managed to speak amongst her giggling and squealing. I'm so sorry Ongaku-chan, it's just I expected something other than singing. Like what? Spitting fire and such. That's not suited to someone like me. Besides my name means song so what did you expect? Anyway, I can use my songs to affect emotions and I got one mean shriek. Could you give me an example? Of course. I can make people get angry easier or calm them down. Also I can make a deafening screech to defend myself. It's real fun doing it behind Kage-kun when he's not ready for it. Ongaku giggled at the memory while Kage appeared from the shadows glaring. Of course Ongaku knew he was just playing so she didn't worry too much about it. I resent that statement. I am always ready for anything. So then how do you explain that time you almost went through the roof of your den? Kage almost blushed in shame at the event and tried to save his dignity before a near hysteric Hinata. Well that was because I was asleep and babysitting you. You were supposed to be asleep deeper in the den, not next to my ear shrieking your lungs out. But the humped Kage sank back into the shadows, grumbling something about cute kids shouldn't do this to others. Of course someone like Kage calling Ongaku cute was the final straw for Hinata and Ongaku as they both burst into hysteric laughter. Tsunade walked in and seeing the pair on the floor laughing inquired about it. Needless to say there were 2 humans and a kid laughing while a certain black fox grumbled in the corner about never letting him live it down. Kage sighed in dismay, why oh why did Naruto-sama have to send this kid? Couldn't he have sent another one? Anyone poor Kage. After the laughter calmed down, Tsunade explained that today was the big day, getting a huge smile from Hinata and a sigh of relief from Cage. Home, finally home, thought the assassin fox, where there was no Ongaku to make fun of him. Shizune came inside later, covered head to toe with dust and declared mission complete. She had taken nearly the entire jutsu library of Konoha and used copying seals provided by Jiraiya to copy the entire thing into new books for carrying. After sealing these, she went and took some high-quality equipment from the Anbu quartermaster. Quality inspection, yeah right, and she was in a Chiha or something. Next Jiraiya came in, carrying a second oversized scroll on his back. He too declared a mission complete, although he did his traditional silly dance, declaring his superiority as the famous Toad Sennin, dream of women everywhere yada yada yada. Of course, it earned him a one-way trip to the wall, courtesy of the pissed-off Tsunade. Hinata giggled and smiled sadly. Oh, how she wished her Naruto-kun was there, enjoying this family moment with her. After some more time of finalizing the plans, the group went to sleep. After all, tomorrow was the big day, the day of the cage's exodus. An. Now aren't you glad I didn't Cliffy here? See what a nice person I am? Well, to Sasuke and Sakura bashers, that is D. The next day. Morning came, all seemed normal in Konoha. But it wasn't. Everyone who was a ninja or had been pranked by Naruto at least 10 times to be frank, knew something was in the air. Like the feeling of cold air when you sweat and someone breathes in your ear, like the smell of a fermented fart, I mean fish. Something was going to happen in Konoha and only a few knew what it was. Tsunade, Shizune and Jiraiya woke up to the singing of 2 voices. Going downstairs, they came upon a weird sight. Hinata, dressed in a beautiful violet combat kimono, was dancing around with Ongaku in her arms, both singing. Tsunade recognized the song, a love song she listened once with Dan. Jiraiya looked thoughtful for a second before deciding to not take notes this time around and sat down on the dining table. Tsunade and Shizune followed him, all the while cooing about how cute Ongaku was and how pretty a voice she had and all. Hinata sang and danced her heart out, waiting for breakfast to finish cooking before serving it. Some hours later, Tsunade signed the final papers for her, Shizune's and Hinata's release, as well as Jiraiya's appointment as Rokurame Hokage. Oh, this was going to be fun. Sighing, she took another sip of sake. Meanwhile, Shizune, back at home, was finalizing everything they needed to carry, while Jiraiya explained some final things for the contents of the sealing scrolls. Hinata was busy daydreaming with Ongaku on her lap about meeting her Naruto-kun. Ongaku? Well, Ongaku wasn't looking forward to leaving. Why, you may ask? Because she wouldn't be able to torture that mean one-eyed bastard for what he did to Naruto. Flashback, second night since Ongaku came to Konoha. Ongaku crept to the sidewalk, using her sneaking training as taught by Cage. He agreed mostly to make her shut up though. Finally, Ongaku reached her goal. Sneaking around, she found an entrance and went inside. Quietly padding to the bed of the sleeping man, she sat next to his pillow and slowly started singing. A sad, melancholic song it was, and Ongaku's eyes narrowed in vindication. He was going to get it bad. Inside Kakashi's mind. Kakashi was watching his former students spar against each other. It warmed his heart. Suddenly they all started changing. Sakura became Rin, Sasuke became a young Kakashi, and Naruto became Obito. Kakashi looked startled while Sasuke Kakashi charged a Chidori and rammed it in Naruto Obito. Kakashi tried to scream but he couldn't. Naruto Obito looked at him, dying, and said, "You finally killed me, didn't you, Kakashi? You're worse than trash, you traitor." Kakashi's vision blacked out. Now he was in a pitch-black place. Only illumination, a small campfire with a man's figure next to it. Kakashi approached and saw that the man was Haddock Tsukumo, Konoha's White Fang and Kakashi's father. Kakashi sat next to the man. Tsukumo looked at Kakashi before getting up and walking away. Kakashi called to his father not to leave him again. Tsukumo replied, "I'd rather wander the infinite darkness than have a son that betrayed his teammates. You are not worthy of being a Haddock." Kakashi tried to scream, but his vision blacked out again. Now Kakashi was in his old training grounds, where he met Namikaze Minato. And there he was. Namikaze Minato, his sensei. Kakashi went to him trying to hug his mentor, who vanished in a flash of yellow light. Kakashi stumbled and looked at Minato. "Why, sensei? Why don't you let me hug you? Why does everyone hate me? You should know, Kakashi. You betrayed the team. You showed favoritism. You never looked underneath the underneath." "But sensei, Don't call me that. I'm not your sensei and you're not my student. No student of mine would be a traitor like you. You should have died in Obito's place, then maybe everyone would have been saved. But I didn't know he was your son. If I did, you'd have done nothing. Like always, you do nothing but steal from others. Besides, what did it matter whose son Naruto was? I'm not his father, stopped being the moment I cursed his existence by saving this pathetic village. But if I had known he was your son, I'd have helped him, taught him jutsu and trained him. Not to mention you wouldn't have sealed my son. But what does it matter whose son Naruto is? Tell me. He is sensei's son, so I should have taught him. Fool. It matters not whose son he was. Stop being so stupid, damn it. I with you were dead, Kakashi. Dead with me so I could kill you over and over again. Maybe then Obito would have prevented everything. Obito wouldn't have sealed an innocent child, no matter whose son he was. Obito wouldn't have taught the Chidori to a mentally unstable person. But most importantly, Obito would have never betrayed his friends like you, Kakashi. Minato spat at Kakashi. I am ashamed to have called you my student before. You're just like every Uchiha. You're worse than scum. Get out of my face. I despise you. Kakashi managed to find his voice and screamed. In the outside world. Ongaku watched as Kakashi twisted and turned. Finally the man woke up with a start screaming sensei. Ongaku was pleased. From the shadowy corner she had hid herself, she watched in satisfaction as the man was tortured. That should teach him to mess with Naruto-sama. Then flashback. It was the first of many nights of terror for Kakashi. The man was now on medication and looking for work. Without his clan holdings and his job as a ninja to support him, broken fingers and only one eye, Kakashi couldn't even be called a shadow of his former self. Jounin didn't want to speak with him, Chunin avoided him, and Genin sneered at him. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Now working at a library, Kakashi spent hours copying the vast amount of jutsu he knew into scrolls, his hope. To maybe someday pass them on to Naruto. Not much of a hope at that either. Then Kakashi believed he could afford to die. It was all he had, though he feared meeting his sensei, best friend and father. Out of everyone who knew about Ongaku's existence, only Kage knew of her nightly escapades. He might not approve of her behavior, but he didn't like Kakashi either. After all, he had saved Ongaku from a fox hunt already. Flashback. Ongaku was scared. Sure, she could use her screech, but these humans were hell-bent on killing her, so she might not be able to affect them that much. And even if she did, that would mean revealing herself to everyone. That would be bad for Tsunade and Hinata. Ongaku whimpered, trying to seem cute. Unfortunately, that angered the madmen even more. As they were going to charge at her and obviously beat her, something formed from the shadows in front of her. That something was fox-shaped and had 3 tails. Behind them was the same being. A rough, grim voice etched in the back alley. I might not especially like the kid, quite frankly she's annoying. But I would be damned to the 7th layer of hell before I let you touch her. For your transgressions, you will die. Tendrils of shadow formed and grabbed at everyone, like a constricting snake. Just like a snake too, they constricted the fools, crushing them to bits. Kage grabbed Ongaku from the neck, like a mother cat before making his escape. Then flashback. Who would have thought Kage was a softie? Of course, for her continued existence, Ongaku never told anyone. After all, Kage was the lead assassin. It wouldn't be fun to have him as an enemy of all things. It was approaching noon when 3 Jounin barged into Tsunade's office. The first came out immediately, courtesy of a pissed of Sanin. Gaping at her for a second, the Jounin rushed to explain the problem. Tsunade-sama. It's a declaration of war. From the demon brat. And cue a second Jounin out through wall, courtesy of Tsunade's punch, TM. Now unless you want me to play Tetris with your corpses, calm down and speak rationally. Tsunade was happy inside, since she already knew what was coming, but chose to play bad cop. DT Tsunade SS-sama, it's FF Foxes. Poor guy was pulling a Hinata on her. Said person was laughing her ass off behind Tsunade, accompanied by Kage's, Ongaku's and Kaze's silent laughter. Foxes? That's it. Foxes. You idiots charged in here like preschools because of foxes. Bloody idiots. And not normal F-foxes, Tsunade-sama. Huge, multi-tailed foxes. They are attacking. The poor fool was almost at nervous breakdown now. Come on, if Ibisu is an elite Jounin, then many of the rest are. So? How do you know they are attacking? They wear armor, Tsunade-sama. What else could it be? Retards, this place is full of retards. Get out of my sight, you fuckhead. I got no patience for your incompetent Shunin. The man gaped like a fish, but Tsunade left him there and quickly left, followed by Hinata, Shizune and the foxes. Arriving at the wall, Tsunade fought the urge to fassip him. Civilians were gathering in the gate, brandishing pitchforks. Worse, many shinobi on the wall were throwing ninjutsu. If that was not enough, they did that against a huge black fox with 8 tails, the size of Kyuubi almost. Did they honestly think it would hurt him? The civilians shouted in glee, their Hokage has come to save them. Oh, the idiocy of the masses. Tsunade for her part ignored them and leapt to the wall. Would all you fucktards stop throwing jutsu, you fucking imbeciles? Did it ever occur to your malfunctioning minds this is not an invasion? Do you masturbate so much, the juice has reached your brains? No wonder you suck ass. So shut up and let me talk to them, you retarded fuck you. PS. Tsunade panted from the exertion. The fox in front of her chuckled darkly. He liked her. Tsunade took a deep breath, calming herself down, using some chakra to nurse her aching throat. Damn this fit. Alright, I'm sorry for the idiots here, seems they can't tell a 100 feet tall, 9-tailed kitsune demon from a 13 years old malnourished kind kid. Has happened before. I apologize for their idiocy. Tsunade bowed to the being in front of her. It is quite alright, Tsunade dono. After all, they are only fools. They could not see the kindness of Naruto-sama. They should feel blessed Naruto-sama doesn't care about this village. Kyuubi-sama told us of what they did, and I honestly expected Naruto-sama to call for its destruction. Most obviously though he doesn't desire it, otherwise you'd all be already dead. Anyway, Tsunade dono, me and my honor guard, the kitsune pointed at his 20 subordinates, have been summoned to act as your guard for as long as you'll have us. We obey none but your orders, Tsunade dono. Tsunade smirked and turned to the people behind her. See you idiots. You almost caused an international incident. Naruto sent them to support us. Turning to the kitsune warlord, she spoke to him again. I thank you and your summoner for his actions. But do tell me who is he and what is your name so I can talk to you better. My summoner is Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, the Kitsune Lord, former Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Yoko, sole heir to the Uzumaki and Namikaze clans, the Elemental Lord, and quite a few more things I'm not at liberty to reveal at this moment. I am Doki, warlord of the Kitsune clan, 8-tailed kitsune, master of war and strategy. It has come to my attention that there is another kitsune here, correct? Yes. 3 to be exact. Kage, Kaze, Ongaku, present yourselves. Hello there Doki, how has war been to you so far, my old comrade? Spoke Kage, emerging from the shadows. I am Ongaku. I'm so happy to finally meet you, Doki-sama. Kaze here. Reporting for duty, sir. Konoha freaked out seeing these 3 foxes appear so suddenly, not to mention so close to their Hokage. Many started muttering that their Hokage had been corrupted by the demonic magic of the kitsune demons, that they were going to eat their souls. Idiots. Tsunade ignored the retards, turned to Doki and spoke again. Doki-sama, I am sad to announce to you that I will be going on a journey today. I have to visit old haunts and friends, solidify alliances, gain new allies, you surely understand, correct? Therefore I must ask you, do you wish to come with me or will you stay here in Konoha in my stead? Konoha freaked out. Such a hard choice. My soldiers are a bit tired after all. No matter. We have chosen to aid Naruto-sama, and his orders were to protect you, not this village, therefore, we shall come with you. We shall set our camp outside the walls, in waiting for your exit. Tsunade smirked and left without a word to the idiotic masses. Going straight to her house, she picked up everything the old perv had prepared for her, stored neatly in some scrolls. Going over her orders one more time, she smirked at Hinata and Shizune. Each picked up her scrolls and left the house to not be back for a very, very long time. After all, that old pervert did have a talent for sealing unbelievable things with these scrolls of his. Tsunade and her retainers marched out and towards the gates. Reaching them, Tsunade actually face-palmed. The civilians were getting ready to attack the kitsune, who by the way had been sitting around doing nothing. Hinata turned to Shizune as Tsunade had already charged at the civilians. Please tell me again, Shizune-chan, what reason did we have for staying here again? Meanwhile, Tsunade charged at the mob, jumped in the air, landed in their midst and smacked the ground. Hard. The subsequent explosion threw them in the air like rag dolls. Tsunade exploded again, with a barrage of insults that I'll be kind to not write, as they would make Taiya go red from embarrassment. While the scene was going on, with the occasional scream of pain as Tsunade punctuated her insults by punching someone, the rest of Konoha's 10 gathered around Hinata, saying their goodbyes. I will be staying with my clan a bit. We do have our preparations to do before leaving this place after all. Shino. I'll stay too. It's too troublesome to leave yet. We'll see about later though. Ah well, Shikamaru, obviously. I'll stay with Shika. Chaoji, while munching. My dad doesn't want me to go yet. He's still working on some things though. I would follow you, Hinata-nisan, as would the entire cadet branch, but we fear the repercussions of the main branch. Do not worry though, we'll come as soon as we find a way out of this annoying seal. Niji, who else? My pack is not going, so I'm staying. Wish I could though. Seems it's going to be fun. Kiba and Akamaru. Tenten and Lee though seemed different, they carried some bags with them. Tenten spoke before Lee. Tsunade-sama allowed us to come with you. It's going to be fun, besides we don't have much here waiting for us. Besides, someone has to teach that knucklehead how to use a sword and some taijutsu. Who would be better than us too? Yosh. With the power of youth, let's go. Kakashi appeared next to Hinata, carrying some scrolls with him. Hesitantly he spoke to her, trying to ignore the looks of disgust. Hinata, I would like you to get these things to Naruto. Why? And don't call him Naruto. You don't have the right. Oh okay, just some jutsu I want him to learn. I thought that I could do something for him at least now. You mean jutsu you stole, correct? With your Sharingan. The same Sharingan that got him exiled. The same Sharingan that got the Kyuubi to attack. No Haddock. I will not. Even if I did, Naruto-kun would burn them. Listen Hinata, I know I wasn't a good teacher, Hinata muttered understatement of the decade Haddock loud enough for everyone near to hear, but he is my sensei's son So the moment you learn he wasn't a no-name orphan, you want to be his friend. Guess what Haddock, he foresaw this and already told me his opinion. Screw you. That's the kindest thing I can say to you traitor. Get out of my face Haddock. You should have followed Yondame's orders from the beginning. I love Naruto-kun regardless of his Keke Genkai or his parents. I love him because even with all the shit you bastards put him through, he's still the kindest, caring, most courageous person I've ever met. If you can't see that, then no wonder he doesn't like you or this bigoted village. Hinata turned her man to the man that was crushed again and again. Anyway I've got to go now. Lee-kun, Tenten-san, let's go. The remnants of Konoha's 10, the greatest batch of genin watched sadly as again some of their number left. They never forgot though the fact that they'd reunite soon enough. In the meantime, Tsunade had finished bashing the idiotic mob and waved at Hinata and Shizune. Ongaku jumped on Hinata's shoulders and yipped happily. They went to Doki and his group. Are your guards ready Doki-sama? We should leave soon. Of course Tsunade dono. Let's go. Wrath placed his massive head on the ground and motioned them to get on top. This will be much faster and safer for you Tsunade dono. Where to? Tsunade looked at the village and energetically shouted. Onwards to wave. With all speed. Hahaha. Eliciting laughter from the rest of the Kitsune riders. Wrath chuckled darkly before launching forward, followed by his honor guard, leaving a stupefied Konoha behind. At the gates Jiraiya laughed his ass off at the faces of everyone included. Alright everyone, Tsunade Heim made me Hokage since she quit the job. This day will be celebrated as the day of the cage's exodus because of your idiocy. During this day, women will walk around topless. Jiraiya gave a perverted chuckle. Oh he was going to have so much fun with these bozos. Meanwhile, on Wrath's back, Hinata, Lee and Tenten were animatedly talking about the life they were going to lead. In a matter of hours, the Kitsune pack had reached wave amongst laughter. Doki stopped in the clearing he was summoned in and greeted the forest. You were right Naruto. These idiots didn't know where it hit them. From the shadows emerged a person that made Hinata and funny enough Tenten blush a whole new shade of red. Naruto walked forth in the garb he wore before he left. However now he seemed even more toned and the sweat on him made him absolutely delicious to the girls. Hinata leap teleported on him, already glumping. Naruto-kun. Naruto laughed and hugged Hinata. Hey there Hinata-chan. You look even more beautiful than before. I see Ongaku took a liking to you. Hinata hugged him for dear life before speaking in her old stutter about how she had spent her time and wanted to be with him. Anko appeared behind him and greeted the rest. Alright Gakis enough hugging, it's making me sick. We got some things to do and they are not getting done on their own. Naruto get off your girlfriend and carry her items like you should. Hi Anko ni. Anyway Doki-sama, thanks for your assistance. It was good payback. I guess I'll remind them of the day of the cage's exodus next year as well haha. And I'll be looking forward to it. Gotta go now, but don't hesitate to call me again in case of attack. I have to sharpen my claws on someone, especially on one of those traitors. But the entire, snickering, group of Kitsune disappeared with their leader. Kage, Kase and Ongaku remained behind. These humans were so much fun to be around. And so amongst laughter, joking and much storytelling, the group headed to Tsunade's house for their first night as freelance shinobi, not knowing the life ahead of them. One thing was for certain. This was going to be one heck of a wild ride, one they'd go through together as friends and family. What if Kakashi fails Sasuke and Sakura Sasuke bashing? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.